Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This is another post-pandemic market update. We're visiting with experts and professionals across the country, around the world, and in your town, and finding how they're pivoting and managing during this pandemic. This spot is being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs and professionals publish to grow their business and to leave a legacy. On the call with me today, we're visiting with San Antonio, Texas, Daniel Grove. He's a photographer specializing in creative portraits, themed photo shoots, and video with Daniel Grove Photography. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me on, Mark. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about your business, Daniel, what your specialties are, and how you serve your clients.
Yeah, so I'm a huge nerd, and that kind of has worked its way into my photography. Whereas I found my passion for photography in creative portraits. So I use that term because it's kind of vague, but it covers a few different types of photography that I do, such as cosplay portraits of people who are dressed up as costumes as characters from movies or comic books. I do a lot of cosplayers. I also do themed photo shoots for families. So I've done Renaissance photo shoots. I've done 1950s. I've done a biker shoot and Wild West, all kinds of stuff like that are just general themes. And that's something I'm really well known for in this area. A lot of people come to me because they want something fun and creative. They want special effects. They want, different backgrounds, 3D stuff. I do all that and I love it. So that's my passion. I also do other, normal photography like weddings and families and stuff. And I love those too. But my hot spot is definitely the creative, geeky stuff.
And of course, as being a geeky photographer, you have to demonstrate that by having the best webcam I've ever seen, of course. So Daniel, the question on everyone's mind, let's just jump right into that elephant in the room.
Yeah.
How has the pandemic affected your industry and the state of photography?
Oh man, it affected us a lot. In Texas, at least, photography was deemed an unessential job, non-essential. So we weren't really allowed to go out and do photo shoots for a few months. It opened up, then it closed again, and then it opened up. And now we're still having to kind of walk on tippy toes with masks and things like that to be safe. But a lot of us lost our work through being able to work, and also clients didn't want to do photo shoots for basically through the whole summer, mostly. And it was really tough, me myself, because I lost that income. That's a little over half my family income. I actually filed for unemployment and lived at that for a little bit, and then things opened up and I was able to work again. But I've had to shift, a lot of things. I've had to find basically side hustles that are still within my skill set, such as editing and teaching. I do a lot of education for photographers, 3D design and video editing. I've had to kind of work those other skills of mine to kind of make up the difference for the photo shoot stopping. So yeah, it's been an interesting challenge of creativity and side hustling.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. These
Mhm.
these classes that you're teaching, like tell me about what the major shift is that you're making. You're now teaching. Are these aspiring photographers and are they polishing a new skill set or what is it? Tell me more about your teaching.
It's a big mix. So recently I just finished a 1 month class. It was every Wednesday. We did a Zoom call and it was for high schoolers. I had a mom come to me and she's been a fan and a customer of mine for years. She said, "Hey, would you consider teaching my daughter photography? She's very interested in it. She's 15, freshman in high school, I think, or sophomore, and wants to learn it. Would you teach her over Zoom?" Which is a weekly call. And I said, I would love to do that. I've already been teaching, adult photographers and, semi and professional photographers for years with mentoring and one-on-one stuff. But I got to think, I love young people. I love teenagers. I love inspiring them. And I said, this would be perfect. And then she said, why don't you open it up? If maybe there's other kids that would want to join. And I'm like, you're just making my day. So I did that. And I had 5 students. It was really fun. They learned a lot. I learned a lot. It was a great time. I'm also still teaching the adults. I've got people that want to learn Photoshop. They want to learn more advanced techniques. And I do those as well online. So yeah, it's a big mix of, complete newbies that don't even know what the phrases are on their computer. They don't know the terms on their camera, but also people that have been in it for a few years and just want to hone their skill.
Now, 6 months later after this shutdown, aren't people still itching to get their memories, recorded and have their portraits and their family pictures? When
Yeah.
the phone's ringing now, what are the people's concerns and what are they wanting to do nowadays?
They definitely are still needing photography. Photography is a valuable service that's never going to stop. It's just going to change, and it's going to go through different phases, but it's still needed. And fall time is here, which means wedding season and family portrait season as well. That's when most people do their family portraits. is fall or spring. So that's definitely filling up my calendars right now. Weddings are happening more often. In the summer, there's like a very few that were brave enough to still try to do a wedding. Some of them got shut down,
Hmm.
but a lot of them were canceled. I had weddings canceled this year that moved on to next year just to be safe. And I've had others that have popped up regardless. So, I've got like 3 weddings coming up and they're still happening. But yeah, people are calling. What they're concerned about is, of course, safety. I try to do my best to maintain social distancing, and I wear a mask as much as I can. And I use my zoom lens so I can be a little further away, make it easier. So
Right on. So Daniel, what inspired you to get into photography? How'd you get started?
I have been an artist my whole life. I grew up drawing, being a Lego maniac. I was always creating stuff and just trying to make something new, something interesting that just tickled my interest, my imagination. And when I was in high school, about 15 years old, I don't know how it first started, but I discovered that I could make interesting images with my family camera. And I had a questionably sourced version of Photoshop that I taught myself with. Didn't we all, though? And so I learned that very early, and I love to just combine images and do crazy effects and follow tutorials online. And now I'm making those tutorials for others. But yeah, it's just all about creativity. And I wasn't even doing people pictures yet until like at the end of high school. I discovered that my real passion was portraiture and people, and connecting with them through making digital art of them. So that's where it all started, with just create my addiction to creativity and finding something fun.
Before I ask you my last question, for folks listening that are considering hiring a photographer, what are the things that they should really look for when they're interviewing a potential photographer to work with?
That's really good. That is a super important question. For my brides, I actually made a blog post. It is titled 25 Questions to Ask Your Wedding Photographer. But for all types of photographer, there's a few key questions you need to ask. First of all, you want to make sure that they know what they're doing. The few ways to do that is ask for previous shoots, ask for their website, ask to see their portfolio, of course. Depending on what kind of shoot you're hiring them for, ask how much experience they have in that area. If you want them to photograph your kids, have they done kid photography before? If so, then you need to check it out. Make sure it's good. If they have any reviews, if they have any previous clients that they would be comfortable with you contacting, that's another way if you're really concerned about their quality, their customer service. Look them up online, see what kind of stuff they've been posting and writing. Other issue may be copyright. If you're doing professional photos to use on your website, business card, if you're going to be selling these images, you definitely need to be discussing very deeply the copyright issue, because by default, photographers own the copyright to the images and art that they create. And if you want to make money off of that, or if you need the copyright, you're going to need to purchase that. So if copyright's an issue, say for businesses, then you need to discuss that. Also, other things like printing rights, what are the resolution of the images? What can you or cannot do with them? That's some of the basic things that come to mind.
And so with the copyright, that's a very interesting topic. Not many people even disclose that. What does that mean for you? Like, what do you offer clients? And is do most photographers keep the copyright? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it's hard to say in the photography world, because there's just photographers are not created equal. There's photographers that will give away every single photo straight off their camera card, unedited, and they're totally cool with the customer doing whatever they want. But other photographers like me that make an income based off the images that I make, I see myself as an artist. I'm never going to give an unfinished painting or an unfinished repaired car, as a repair of a technician would do. So I never give an unfinished image to someone. So all my images are edited. I retain my copyright. There's a few cases where I have sold rights to my images, but that comes with a fee, because I'm in a sense losing money off of that, because they're making money off of it in return. Some cosplayers sell prints of themselves that I've taken the photos of, so that would be that. Others, if they need to have full copyright of their images to use in brochures or selling products, that might be another example. But yeah, I retain copyright and I handle all the printing for my customers, because I want to make sure it's done professionally and do it right, and that's just part of my full service.
Daniel, this is sage advice, really great information. For folks out there that are in the San Antonio area or places that you serve, how can they find you and work with you?
Well, I'm all over the place online. I've got a bunch of different accounts for the different things that I do. If you just Google Daniel Grove Photography, you'll find me. But my website is danielgrovephoto.com. My last name is Grove. I'm also on Facebook as Daniel Grove Photography. Instagram is Daniel Grove Photo. And on YouTube is also Daniel Grove Photo.
Daniel, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals and entrepreneurs publish to grow their business and leave a legacy. That's all for now. Join me on my next expert spotlight and post-pandemic market update. I'm Mark Imperial. Take care.